answering the questions. Part of the Q&A. So this is the Q&A video today. 20,000 subs. I mentioned the 20,000 other video, but I said when I hit 20,000 I'd do another Q&A. Got a good amount of questions here. I'm hoping to just do it in one shot and hopefully not miss any. I have those questions from that video on my phone here. I did not respond to any of the actual questions. I just hearted them. But now I'm going to probably, as I'm going through them, just leave a thumbs up to respond just in case. I want to split this into two. I'll know which ones I already answered. I don't know. Try to keep it under an hour. But thank you to everybody. 20,000 is awesome. It's a number I've been wanting to hit for a while. I got there quickly too from 19. I've been on a very good run lately. That's like 4 months, sub-wise, view-wise, and everything else. Thanks to everybody, new subs, existing subs. Subs have been here for a long time. For watching the videos, if you like the video, you just watch it and enjoy it, and you don't do anything else. Everything is greatly appreciated, so. But I do want to get right into this so I can try to keep it at no longer than maybe like hour 10. Depends, and I know there are some duplicate questions here from people. So some of you asked the same thing. I'm not going to try to search you. I will re-answer it as I get to it. I'm going to start from the last one I got. I'm going downward, not from the bottom up. Hello, could I? Oh my god. Yeah, there is a lot. I was concerned there'd be a lot. I was like, oh god, it's going to be like an hour video. Which is a good thing, obviously, but you know what, I'll start from the bottom. I think this is going in order now from when they came in. I'm sorry if I butcher some of your names, your usernames as well. Alright, let's start. This is the first one. This is Mike Body 72. They're asking about they have a large collection of men's fragrances. I was wondering if you had a favorite fragrance, or you go to plain deodorant. I just do plain deodorant. I can't wear any kind of cologne. I don't usually like the smell, and it gives me a headache. Any of that stuff, like perfume and stuff. Like when I used to be on the train, back on Long Island, people would walk past me, they'd have cologne and perfume on. I'd immediately be like, oh god, like the smell. I just use, what am I using? Speed Stick deodorant right now. I just grab whatever deodorant. Some of them do have scents, but it's usually like ocean breeze or mountain something. But no, I don't wear. I wore cologne like once or twice years ago, and I was just like, I can't do this. I do wear deodorant though. All right, let me just real quickly. I'm just gonna thumbs up these ones just in case. Okay. And the next one is from JBird8748. Maybe I'll just say the names because I know I don't know if some of these are like you guys put the numbers in, but I know like YouTube just throws numbers now against people's names. Like mine is Slip Into Shadow. It's like 479, but I never had 479. They ask, what's the roughest place I've been in the U.S.? They hear in the UK a lot about how dangerous some parts of some US cities can be. Is there anywhere I wouldn't go? Have I witnessed any gang stuff or crazy crime going on? I've never witnessed any crazy crimes anywhere I've ever been, thankfully. I don't know about rough places, honestly. Like, I've been to New York City a bunch over the years when I was up there. There's parts of the city that are dangerous. I mean, people say now it's going to shit. Anytime I've been there, last time I was there was, what was it, 2022, and it was fine. I will say though, and you'll see this kind of shit in the city, no pun intended, what I'm about to say. We were walking and this guy just shit in his hand and like flung it in one motion. Like, I don't even think the shit touched his hand. It was like the wind through it. And I almost stepped in. I was like, I'm like, yeah, there's the city for you. But I know my friend's like sister works in the city, and the subways can be really a problem there with people just not acting right. Some have something wrong with them, legitimately, and they're not necessarily trying to do wrong. have mental health issues, right? Some people are not good, but just not good people. So, but I don't know. I've not been to places that would be considered bad, and I don't want to. I don't want to like badmouth people's cities and be like, "Well, I heard that." If I haven't been, I don't know, and I don't look at the statistics. I can go by New York City, and I've been to places like Savannah, which was really nice, and that was not dangerous at all. I've been to Orlando, wasn't dangerous. All the times I've been to New York City, I've never felt threatened or nervous outside of someone flinging shit. I've never witnessed any crimes. I don't know if there's anywhere I wouldn't go in the U.S. I'm sure there's plenty of places I wouldn't go. And there's a lot of, but I don't know. I honestly don't know. In terms of bad cities, like, I could sit here and say, well, just Chicago. I don't know. Chicago's probably the same as New York. I don't even know who has the highest murder rate in the country. What city, at least what big city, per 100 people, we'll say. But honestly, I don't know, like, there's no real cities I'd stay away from. I don't. I'd like to say the problem is I'm ignorant too. I can sit here and say, well, I know New York City has crime. I would think LA has crime, Chicago, Detroit, Miami, I don't know, Houston. Like, I'm sure these cities all have crime, but I don't know which one would be considered bad. If anybody here lives in any cities with bad crime, let me know in the U.S., because honestly, I don't know what would be the roughest city. I know people gave Detroit shit for a while, because Detroit used to be booming, and then I think a lot of the factories closed down and shit, and New York City has gone through periods like, I think it was the 70s where it was awful, or the 80s. Then it came back and was much less crime. Then it bounced back. It goes all over the place. But every city has its pockets where it's worse, Stay away from whatever area in your city. It used to be like Mass Speak where you don't want to go past the tracks. I don't even know what that was supposed to mean, because I used to go past the tracks all the time, and it was literally the same as below the tracks. It's like you mysteriously walk across. Now, you can see sometimes when you're in a town or a city and everything looks nice, and all of a sudden you get past a certain point and everything looks run down and stuff. But in my old town, it all looked the same. Like, I don't know why people would say that. But honestly, I just don't know. I don't know what would be considered the roughest city right now. I mean, New York probably was at some point. I don't think it is anymore. Like, same thing with Detroit, Chicago. These bigger cities, LA. Dallas, I don't know. Does Dallas have crime? Bad crime? I don't know. That's the thing, I just don't know. But the cities I've been to, Orlando, Savannah is much smaller. New York City, the fair thing is I have not been to a ton of cities. Washington, D.C., I know has pretty bad areas, I think. I'm pretty sure you always used to hear about D.C., like, there's just terrible parts. And then you have the part with the real corruption in Congress and stuff. That's where the real bad stuff happens. That's where all the politicians are doing their corrupt shit. Tongue in cheek, but kind of being serious. But thank you for the questions. I honestly, but I know I've not witnessed any gang stuff or crazy crimes happening. Thankfully, because I wouldn't want to. But like I don't say I guess the roughest place would be New York City, because I really haven't been to other ones that would, and it wasn't necessarily rough. There was nothing rough about it. I mean, I've been to the Bronx too, which is a borough of the city. It's considered part of New York City, even though it's one of the 5 boroughs. That was, because that's where my mom was a cop, and they've had their crime. But thanks for the question. Let me just real quickly, or questions. That was not a question. Some people did not leave questions; they just left comments. So I'm like, but those I responded to. Ants Lessons asks, what's my most memorable moment as an NBA fan? I don't even know. It would have probably been Portland making the NBA Finals in the 91-92 season, but they lost to Chicago in 6. It sucked as a moment when they blew like a 15-point lead in the 4th quarter of Game 7. Honestly, I haven't had a lot of like memorable moments when it comes to Portland. There was back-to-back conference finals they did in the late 90s. which was cool to see him get there. But once again, the Lakers, they're down 3-1 in the series. They tied at 3, and they blow a 17-point lead, I think it was, in the fourth quarter. Portland, as a franchise, no matter who they're playing or who's on the team, has blown massive fourth quarter leads. But there's some good moments with Lillard hitting game winners. I think he did one against OKC in the playoffs to get out of that round. I think it was the first round. They did do a conference finals once with him. They beat Denver in 7 and then got smacked by Golden State. But I don't really have a lot of memorable moments. When they drafted Greg Oden, and he was good when he played, but he only played like 20 games. And they could have taken Durant. There's a lot of unmemorable moments. But thanks for the question. Not a question. Zachary Bowers asks, you see, I'm not adding the numbers. I'm gonna start adding the numbers because I don't know if you guys put the numbers or they're like me. They just throw the numbers on your name. Do I do fantasy football? There's 3 questions here. I don't know why I'm answering from the bottom to the top. Do you play fantasy football? I used to for 11 years. Up in my last season, I did it was 2017, I believe. I'm gonna tell you why I couldn't do it anymore. At first, I got into a league. It was 10 teams. The first year I did it was 07, I believe. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, it was 11 years. It was 10 of us. 2008 was 10 of us. 2009 was only 8. We lost 2 people. And then 2010 onward, it was 14 people. This league, it was a big league. I never won that league. I made the championship game 2 times, at least twice, maybe it was 3. I made the playoffs 1.5 the time, but I used to love the draft. We used to have gatherings for the draft. Occasionally a person, when we had 14 people, one person here and there couldn't make it, but they would kind of do it over the phone. We'd hang out at a friend's house. We'd all do the draft. We have the board. You put in your, who you draft on the board. It was fun. And it flew by, but as it went on, the draft would take longer and longer. We would sometimes draft at 9 in the morning, and it would take like 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. It was nuts. If we started like 4 in the afternoon, it'd be going to like midnight. It got like, and sometimes I'd get a headache, and it was just awful. And I used to love the draft, and then I was like, this is taking, the first couple rounds would move, and then everybody's sitting there. Like, I would have my at least 3 guys in my mind who I wanted to draft. And one time, all 3 were taken before it got to me. So it took me an extra minute. But I was usually quick with my draft picks. I knew I won. Some people will take a while. Whatever, that's fine and natural. And then you get to the end of it where you're just like, just pick somebody. Everybody's just, somebody pick somebody. It would take a while. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then I think the year I stopped, I think most everybody stopped. I did do hockey fantasy as well for like 6 years. But that was drafts online. I did win that once and went to the finals once. It was 5 or 6 years. That was cool too. But that was, I think, 10 teams. Or 8 or 10. But I did play up until 17. And then it was fun. And then I used to I used to hang out with my friends. Ride bikes and stuff. Take bike rides. I should say, I'm acting like we're 15. Take bike rides and talk fantasy. It was always fun talking fantasy football when it was going on. Like, oh, this guy's on the waiver wire. It was really fun. But then we stopped doing that and stuff. And it's just, I think a lot of people are losing interest. Favorite hobbies, video games, making videos. Well, it used to be walking. I don't know if walking is considered a hobby. Really, those 2 things. I used to write occasionally when I was younger, but I haven't done that in a while. I can at least use the YouTube vids as an outlet with like the shady vids and stuff to be creative. I like collecting cards. I don't do it crazy, like I've talked about. But I do when I get them. I like to collect them. That's like call it a soft hobby. I don't go full force on it. But it's really video games stuff. I don't read nearly enough. I read sometimes. I do like using my telescope, but I don't use that a ton. I wouldn't necessarily call it a hobby. But it's really video games. And I get making vids as a hobby. But they ask here, this was asked by at least 3 people, probably 4. Do I do YouTube full time? No, I guess. It's YouTube, I sell on eBay, and I need to start selling more on eBay. YouTube's part of it, eBay's part of it, and I do something else that I am not going to discuss, but it is not a ton. But I don't want. I'm trying to keep some things. I'm a little too open with my stuff, which is not smart over the internet sometimes. But I do one other thing. But YouTube is not the full thing. YouTube is a good chunk, but eBay and this other thing combination. And if all those combinations can't get it done, I will have to do something else. But thank you for the questions. The Dead Fish asks, what's my favorite game character ever? Alright, that's the first one. For villains, it's probably Pyramid Head from Silent Hill. Arthur Morgan, great, from Red Dead 2. Leon S. Kennedy is awesome. He's probably realistically my top favorite character. Always loved Leon. He's my favorite Resident Evil character. Pyramid Head's like, I just love Pyramid Head. James Sunderland from Silent Hill 2, also great. Who was the other one I said? Oh, Arthur Morgan's incredible. Just for the acting and the character. Like, the progression of the character in the game is incredible. Oh, I forgot to. Oh, no. I'm already forgetting to put the thumbs up on these. I have to go backwards. Oh, God. And the funny thing is, you're going to probably see responses for these, and this video's not up yet. I'm putting it up the next day. What am I doing? But yeah, it's Leon S. Kennedy from Resident Evil. He's my favorite. If I had to pick a game, the second question was if I had to pick a game world to live in, what would it be? It certainly wouldn't be Silent Hill. I don't know. I mean, the Red Dead 2 game world is awesome. Yeah, like, there's Final Fantasy games where the game worlds are great. Those would be cool to live in. I'm trying to think. It'll probably be an Elder Scrolls world. Be it Cyrodiil in Oblivion, or... Wait, is Cyrodiil the whole thing? And it's or Cyrodiil actually, I don't know. Or Skyrim. Or Morrowind. Morrowind's the roughest. That's the roughest. Or one of the roughest places in Elder Scrolls lore. Yeah, it'd probably be one of the Elder Scrolls countries, or whatever they call them. But, thank you for the questions. Jotty X asks, have you ever considered doing a collab video with your fiance? She has no interest in me on camera. She was in a video with me once where I was playing some Mario Bros. 3. It's on my page, and she would talk in it. You didn't see her. You know, I'm always tempted to ask her again, but if she's not into it, I'm not going to try to get her to be into it, you know. I'll do it for the views. Now. Yeah, just I never... If she wanted to, sure, but I think it would still be a little weird. I don't know. That's the one thing I kind of try to do, be protective of. I don't want to... Like, I'm giving out enough information about myself. I don't want to bring, like, you know, her in there, and then, you know... You got to worry about comments based on that. I know, realistically, 90% of everybody in the comments would be fine, but... You know, people come in with their comments. If you do YouTube, you know it ain't all great all the time, right? I know. All I need to do is check my hidden, the held comment section from time to time to see some gems of what people don't like you. But I never really considered it. Like, I've thought about it, but there's no deep consideration. Like, maybe she might pop up again doing a gameplay of an old NES game because she's really good at them. And you'd hear her voice, but on camera, most likely not. But you never know. Thank you for the question. Jake the Panda asks some questions here. Let me go. Alright, I'll go first one. I'll answer them all. Because I can choose which ones you want. If people have multiples, I'll answer them all. A few questions. Mount Rushmore of games. Silent Hill 2. Well, let's see what's my top 4 games. Silent Hill 2, Final Fantasy 3, or 6. It was 3 when I played it. Final Fantasy 6, 3. Silent Hill 2. Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine, and Probably UN Squadron. I love UN Squadron. It's a shoot 'em up on this Super Nintendo. Amazing game, one of the best soundtracks over here. Silent Hill 2 I've talked about a ton. It's my favorite game of all time. My personal favorite survival horror game. Incredible, probably the best game story you'll ever find. And a game, Indiana Jones in Front of the Machine, I just love it. It's a great adventure game. Great memories with it, even though it has glitches. And Final Fantasy 6-3 is just an amazing RPG. It's my favorite. When I first played that game, when I got it back, I think it came out in 94. I was in 9th grade when I got it. I was just like, 2 was incredible too, which is 4. But it's something about a great story in that game too, and the characters were great. But those are my top games. Those would be the top ones. Wipe any game from memory and play it again. I wouldn't even say Silent Hill 2, because Silent Hill 2 is... those survival horror games are experiences, and you love them, but you're like, oh god, I have to revisiting it with the remake was even like, oh god, I love this game, but I'm like, it's disgusting and creepy and weird. It'd probably be Final Fantasy 3, actually, or 6, whatever. Final Fantasy 6, that's one probably be. Because I always want to go back and play it, and I start to, but it just doesn't have the same feel that it originally did. It's not to say it's not bad, but it's just, it's hard, I need to just actually do another playthrough of that at some point. What do I do for work? It is not the print shop anymore, but it's the YouTube, the eBay, and the other thing that I'm not talking about, which is, I guess, part-time. Part-time. Oh, what's my weekly routine look like? Making vids, doing that one thing. I need to list more on eBay, but taking pictures for eBay listing. I think I did list the coin, I need to list more. Doing my YouTube videos, doing yard work, because it's never-ending yard work. And I get on the treadmill, go work out and stuff. Sometimes I go into town. Stuff like that. Favorite gaming memories. Like I said, Final Fantasy 3, first time I played it was incredible. First time playing Silent Hill 2 was amazing. Getting my Nintendo 64 was awesome. That was an awesome, that might be my best. When I first saw the graphics of Nintendo 64, you were just like, holy shit. The battles back in the day with the Genesis Super Nintendo, I had them both, but people were like, oh man, you play this, play that. Stuff like that, those were all great gaming memories. And when me and my fiance officially getting married, I don't know if we even are. If we do, it'll be the county courthouse. It ain't gonna be a big thing. If I had to sell all my games and consoles, but I could keep one console and the games for it. Well, the problem is I have a Genesis, but I don't own a Super Nintendo. I have the Retron. Realistically, it would be the Super Nintendo, though, or my Retron. We'll just say it's the Retron, and it just plays Super Nintendo games. It doesn't, but it'd be that in those games, because that generation's my favorite. I could even say the Genesis. I would have to go back and forth between the two of those. Because I back and forth between my favorite of all time, those two. It's my favorite era of gaming, is the 16-bit era. Let me put my thumbs up there, and thank you for the questions. Shane604. Oh, I did it again. I said the numbers. Favorite turn-based JRPG of all time. Favorite sports game. Final Fantasy 6, again, or 3, is my favorite. I love that game. I like a lot of the Final Fantasies. That's my favorite, though, of all time. I loved it. And it still holds up. Like, if you watch a video on it and people playing it for the first time, and I do play some of it sometimes, like I said before, but I can't. I don't know if I'm just not allowing myself to get into it because I don't want the nostalgia to, like, rush over me so bad to where I can't handle it. Sometimes you get these nostalgia things where you can't handle it, but that's always going to be my favorite. It just always will be. There's other ones I really like, too. Other Final Fantasies, The Lord of the Rings, the Third Age, the turn-based RPG. Although that was not a Japanese game, but it was in the same, what you would consider that. But yeah, it's Final Fantasy 6. Favorite sports game of all time is NHL 94. That's a top 5 game for me, too. I wouldn't put it on the Mount Rushmore like the other question, but my friends and I will still used to play it when I was up in New York, and when friends come down, you throw a couple games in. You either play each other or you pass it off each, period. When I first played it, introduced the one-timer and stuff. It was just awesome, man. And it still holds up playing it. Like, it's just super fun to play. I'll always love it. Close second is ESPN NFL 2K5. It's the best football game I ever played. outside of, I don't know if it's the best, but it was the crib. You buy stuff for your crib. The gameplay was like arcadey, but still like a simulation. It was an awesome game. And then of course EA had to buy the Madden license because they knew that game was better, and they sold it for $20 when it came out. But the Tecmo Super Bowl, the one on the Super Nintendo, the NES one's incredible too, but the Super Nintendo Genesis one, also incredible. But NHL 94. And thank you for the questions. Anthony asks, Anthony SZ4MS. See, that might be something else too, but it's not showing what the name actually is, which is annoying. It sometimes shows you the person's full screen, like username. This is not. What's my favorite guilty pleasure game? It's probably that Frozen. This is free to download. My fiance, I used to play a ton of it. We'd swap back and forth. It's like some Frozen puzzle game from the movie. I've never seen the movies, but you had to like match up things. You had to do certain things, like get rid of the ice or get rid of this and do that. I played a ton of that. I don't know. That's one we still play though. So we actually bought some of the stuff because it's a free game, but you can buy things. And you get to a point where you can't get past something. You need to buy like extra little bonuses to get past. So we did that. We actually spent like $5 or whatever it was, $10 to get past that part. So that would actually that's actually probably the complete answer for it. I'm trying to think if there's some other ones. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely that Frozen game. That would almost be the complete definition of something you wouldn't. It's a cool puzzle game, but it's like I have no like feelings or anything towards what it's based on. The characters and shit. I don't even know their names. I'm trying to think if there's like some other random thing that I play. What I used to play a lot of, but I guess I don't anymore, obviously. But it used to be like these casino games where there would be like a virtual casino and you go in and play slots and stuff. But thank you for the question. Random GE3BH. See, this is probably not your full name, but YouTube's just throwing it up like this. What does your fiance think about you making ASMR? She doesn't. I think she thinks it's weird, but she's like, go for it. It's making you some money. You enjoy doing it. People like it, right? And it's a good feeling to know people like your vids and they've helped people. It's just a really nice feeling. She doesn't think anything weird. She thinks it's a little odd, some of the videos I've done, but she's not like, what the fuck. It's funny though, my mom, because my mom knows, man. I was like, pretty much everybody knows I do with my friends. But I was talking about the Wendy's one. This is a funny thing. I was like, oh yeah, I'll go home and eat this for a video. My mom just starts laughing. She's like, what? People like this? She's like mind blown. Like, what are you talking about? Really? I'm like, yeah, people like it. Oh, this is one of the other people. We got one of the other people. It's not full time. It's part of the equation, but it's not the full part. Ever think about doing a themed gaming style wedding? Well, no, because if we do, it's gonna be kind of gross. But no, she's not into games enough. She likes older games, but she would never. Like if I was like, let's do a Silent Hill 2 wedding, which would be weird but cool. She'd be like, what? But no, never thought of that. But yeah, thank you for the questions. Irish J asks, have I ever visited there from Ireland? Have you ever visited Ireland or anywhere in Europe? I have not. I'd love to, and we have been talking about it. Possibly getting over to England, maybe at Ireland as well, Scotland. It'd be awesome. I would love to. I've always wanted to go to England. I mean, I'm from I'd have to do like one of the ancestry things, but from what I know, I am background ancestors. I'm German, Irish, and English, so I just always, especially England, for some reason, I liked their comedies and stuff. I don't know, I've always felt like my last name is English, or it could be Scottish as well. It depends. And Ireland as well, I'd love to get to. My mom and aunt and grandma went there years ago. They've been all those places, which is cool. But I would love to get to all that. Scotland, Ireland, and England would be but I've not been to Europe. Hopefully we do get there because it would be cool. And it's going to be expensive because, especially the British pound and the euro as well, are worth more than the US dollar. The British pound is worth more, a good amount more. I don't know. It's not double anymore, but that's the problem. It's like you're exchanging your money and you got to spend more of your money to exchange to get the British pound or the euro. And it can be pretty pricey. But thanks for the questions. Colin Hoffmeister. I don't know if I'm saying that right. They ask, what is your favorite song from the 90s? My favorite song from the 90s is Everything's Ruined by Faith No More. It's probably my favorite song, and it came out in the 90s. It's on Angel Dust. It's just an awesome tune. It's got, when Faith No More is hitting it, you got the keyboards, the bass, drums, Patton singing, the guitar, which at that point was still Jim Martin. Just an awesome tune. The video's pretty funny too. I just love that song. Role Model by Helmet would be number 2, and that also was in the 90s. But it's definitely Everything's Ruined by Faith No More. I love that song still to this day. Great tune. Angel Dust is just a great album in general as well. But yes, it's Everything's Ruined. And thank you for the question. Kyle Kaufman asks, what are the biggest culture differences you've noticed from moving from New York to NC, North Carolina? I don't know what it's food, things, people, lifestyle differences. Pace is a little slower down here, which I appreciate personally. You have to get used to it because, and I'm not talking for upstate New York. I'm talking where I was on Long Island and the city, 5 boroughs. Very fast paced. People are always in a rush, and people are always on edge. It's an expensive place to live. I feel like a lot of people are on edge. So it's a nice change for me personally, coming down to a slower. Same thing when I go to Florida. It's just slower pace, and I personally like the slower pace. The food is different everywhere. Better barbecue down here. I've talked about this in other videos. The pizza's better up there. The Chinese food's better up there. Bagels are better up there. The barbecue is definitely better down here, which is nice. I like barbecue. And that's going to be everywhere. You're going to be places that are different and better foods and stuff. But it's certain stuff's better there, certain stuff's better here. But we did find a good pizza place in Ashboro, and it's solid, which is great, which is nice. There's no delis down here that I found, like a deli where you're like, okay, I get a bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll, stuff like that. And I'm only going by Ashboro. I've been to other towns as well in North Carolina, but I like the slower pace. The food thing doesn't really bother me, whatever. It doesn't matter. You replace it with something else, You're like, okay, the barbecue's better down here. Great. Well, not that I'm eating a ton of barbecue, but I don't know what the people driving are different. I don't drive, but I'm in the car enough where you notice the difference in driving from New York to here is different kind of things are going to bother you in each state. I hate saying like people are more pleasant down here because I think New York and Long Island gets a bad rap for that. People see New Yorkers as they're like abrasive assholes, which is true in some cases, but there's plenty of nice people. People in New York are going to let you know how they feel a lot of the time. They're going to be honest with you. The people down here are very welcoming, which is nice, It's a good thing. I guess I don't know because I never came to New York as someone moving to New York, so I don't know how they would be welcoming. But anytime I knew people that moved from out of state, I was always welcoming towards them in New York. But that's really it. The weather is different, but that's not a cultural. It's an environmental thing. You get that southern thickness and the humidity, and you don't get the winters you get up there. But we got some snow down here. I was like, okay, cool. I could take it. I don't mind the cold weather. I kind of miss it sometimes. I want it to get cold from time to time. It does get pretty cold here, but not. Long Island was weird with weather, but it's also weird down here. And I do like the terrain here is better. We're at like the base of these mountains, these small mountains. The Burkhead Mountain is always. Long Island's flat, so it's different. Like I like the surroundings here. You got the mountains, more woodsy there. It's just building in Long Island. Like I said, I have to go by Long Island. Upstate's a whole different ballgame. But yeah, those are the differences. Nothing from a lifestyle perspective. It's not really. I don't. Like I said, slower pace, but I don't mind that. I kind of like that. Sometimes you have to get used to it, and you have to okay, they're not moving at the same pace, so you have to kind of slow yourself down a little bit, which is fine. But thank you for the question. Those are not. Jacob. Jacob. I don't know how to say your last name. I don't know if this is your full name. I apologize for that. First of all, I don't know why I'm assuming that. Yavello. Jacob Yavello. I apologize. I probably said that wrong. Asks, what to you is the first thing that's relatively common or possible that someone can do on a first date to instantly make you go, nope, not gonna work? Say they don't like cats. I don't know, when it comes to that, unless they were just coming off as a complete rude asshole, I guess they could. There's not a lot of stuff I would be. You'd have to hate something I really liked for me to be but what would they do? I'm trying to think. They didn't like people who were bald. I really don't know. Really, if you were just straight up rude, because I'm when you first meet people, I'm very. I'll start to talk over time, but I'm very quiet and stuff. But I don't know. If they didn't like cats, that'd be a big no-no. But if in terms of doing something and it's funny because if food was coming out of their mouth while they ate, maybe, or if they were just rude, say they were at a restaurant, they were just rude to the staff, would be annoying. Those kind of attitudes always I can't stand. So really, just be if you came at it with the person came at it with an attitude that was just not something the opposite of me. Not to say there's a bad thing being opposite, but I'm talking just being rude and stuff like that. Would probably be it. If they came down, I don't know why you'd be sitting down and saying you hated cats, but something like that. I don't know. But sorry, I couldn't really. I don't. But I would get it from a specific attitude, or if some people get into a conversation, they'll badmouth something that they don't know you're into or and you're no. Or if someone was talking a bunch of crap about other people, even if they're their own friends or stuff, well, why are you doing that? That'd be kind of thing that would turn me off. That well, you're going to be doing the same to me. But thank you for the question. Antonio, and I apologize. I don't know if it's supposed to be Hourling, Antono Hourling 900 asks, what's the best thing so far about North Carolina I've experienced since I moved here? It is the change of pace. I mean, I knew it was going to be a slower pace, and I like that because it moved. Really, I wasn't meant to, and I lived my whole life there up until now on Long Island. The way I am and the way that place is, you'd be surprised I was able to deal with it that much. Because I'm not a confrontational type and stuff, and people are very in your face and want to tell you how they feel and stuff. So it is nicer that everybody's more open and it's a slower, more relaxed pace, we'll call it. I like that probably the most. And also the surrounding environment. We got the mountains right up there. You see them when you're coming back down the road. You see the mountains in the background. It's cool. You didn't get that view on Long Island. So that's probably realistically it. Is the more relaxed, slower pace, and just better surroundings in terms of what I like, woodsy surroundings. You got the beaches on Long Island stuff, which are cool, but I'm more of the woods and stuff. But thank you for the question. West Mountain Motorsports asks, this is another person, is YouTube your full-time job? It is not. It is part of it. Like I said, eBay and the other thing I do is also part of it, but YouTube is not. Hey, give me another 15,000 subs, get that money, like maybe triple of what it is now. You could probably consider it a full. Well, yeah, realistically, well, based on myself, yes, 3 times what I make. Probably about 3 times what I get from YouTube now would suffice. But no, it is not the full-time thing. I mean, I've always treated it, and not even when I was working at the print shop, like I'm still getting videos up every day. Like I still found a way to get the videos up. But no, it is not. And thank you for the question. Eager Fox asks, my top 10 favorite players of all time from any sport. Terrell Davis, John Elway. 2, for sure. Terrell Davis is probably the best. Well, no, Clyde Drexler's probably my favorite athlete of all time. Drexler, Rod Strickland in basketball. Drexler, Sean Kemp. That's 3. Terrell Davis, Elway, both football. That's 5. Mike Messina in baseball. 6. I really liked Don Mattingly when I was a kid, so I'll still throw him there. 7. Ken Griffey Jr. is 8. Love Griffey. Those are baseball. Who are my favorite hockey players? I'm trying to think of the Islanders I liked. Kind of more back in the day. Well, I do really like Sorokin now. Hockey's always tougher because, like, I always had fans of players, but Doug Gilmour in hockey. I always liked Doug Gilmour. I'd probably say Jake Plummer with football as well, because when he came to Denver, I was like, he's a cool dude. He seemed like a cool dude, so I think he grows mushrooms now, actually. But those are the 10. We'll say Drexler, Strickland, Sean Kemp basketball, football, Terrell Davis, Elway, that's 5. Who would I say? Griffey, Mattingly, Mike Messina. That's 8. I said Doug Gilmour, 9. Who did I miss? Jake Plummer, did I say 10? I would say those are my 10 favorites. I mean, I liked a ton of other guys too, like Terry Porter, Damian Lillard is cool. He's still playing. He's not in Portland anymore though. Even like Arvydas Sabonis. I go through a ton of guys. Jeremy Roenick was I always liked him back in the day. Felix Potvin is another one actually. I could put him on the list. The goalie was on the Leafs, and then he was on the Islanders briefly. I don't know where else he ended up. But I say those are the 10. Those first 10 that I said would be the 10. But thank you for the question. Shoot and Scoot asks, most is like the other one. Would I ever have my fiance in a video? I mean, like I said, she was in a video just voice once. If you want to watch Super Mario Bros. 3 gameplay, I think it's Super Mario Bros. 3 gameplay. Her voice is in that one. Like, if she approached me about it, I'd be sure. But I asked her once, and she just wasn't into it. And I was like, I'm not gonna push her on it. So, could it happen one day? I guess so, but you never know. I mean, hey, if the views are struggling, I'll ask you to be on there. Maybe I get a bump. But no, it's not. Don't really. It's just probably never gonna happen. And you might hear her voice in another video, like if we do another game, but like NES game or something. Thank you for the question. Southpaw Billings asks, top 3 hardest bosses to beat in a video game. Well, I'll say one is that one from Destroy All Humans remake that I couldn't beat, that final boss. God, I see that the problem is it's like I should have looked over these questions and researched them more. But that was definitely one because I still haven't beaten that one. I played like 25 times and I stopped. I couldn't beat it. So I can't remember what it was either, but that was kicking my ass. Dead to Rights, the final boss, was a pain in the ass. I forget what his name was, like a corrupt cop. But you fight him in stages. At one point, you're fighting him. I forget how it goes. But I know the end of that fight. You're in the boiler room, and you gotta like kind of punch him into the fire. It's like a fist fight. It's like a gunfight turns into a fist fight. I forget his name, but it's the last boss in Dead to Rights. Definitely a pain in the ass. I did beat that one eventually, but that was a tough fucking boss. think of something on the NES. Kefka in Final Fantasy III was a pain in the ass, and it was a long. That was a long fight. Actually, that was a pain in the ass. That was long, man. That took a while, and you get to the end, and you die, and you're like, here we go. I got to do this again for the 45 minutes. But yeah, I would say those three. And I'm saying the Destroy All Humans one because it's the biggest boss I've had trouble with in recent memory. It was a couple of years ago. But thank you for the question. Jeff Gordon asks, did you drink a lot or party during your high school or teenage years? I don't really consider, I went to some parties, but I used to hang out at the high school fields, like right around the block, which is great. Did a decent amount of drinking in school and smoking and stuff, and some other drugs, acid, stuff like that. But yeah, we would. Every weekend, and there was a problem for a point. I won't talk about that though. But yeah, it was, go down to the field. You always have somebody older that could get booze for you. And I remember my friends and I mixed a bunch of alcohol, and we went down to the high school field. I was out of school at the time. I think I had a free period or something, I forget what it was. And my friend was playing football for gym. We were just on the bleachers pounding this stuff. Just like, laughing. But yeah, I drank a lot. I didn't party a ton. You'd go to the field and there'd be a ton of people, but it wasn't like a party. But I did go to some parties. I was never one for parties like that. I liked hanging out in the bigger open space and stuff like that. There used to be parties, a lot of people in Croons Woods and Massapequa. People bring kegs into there. And they have their parties in there. But yeah, I drank a decent amount. I probably did more drinking then than after I turned 21. But yeah, not partying a ton, but I definitely drank and smoked and did some other stuff. But yeah, thank you for the question. The Sleeper asks, what am I doing? Sorry, I'm putting the thumbs up just so I know it's answered. What am I at here? 47 minutes, oh man. This is rough. This is going to go well over an hour. Have you ever played Starcraft? Also, how important is a video game story for you? I never played Starcraft, any of them. It was a PC thing first, right? I know there's one on the N64, I believe. Never played it. Story for games are important depending on what it is. Like if I'm playing a Mario or something, I don't care about the story. You're playing a Silent Hill, you want a good story. You're playing certain games. I guess nowadays, the story matters more. Back in the day, I couldn't care less. When a game did have an interesting story, it was a bonus, but side-scrolling. Some of the RPGs you'd expect more, but it's not overly important, but it's a nice bonus. It depends on what the game is. If I'm playing a horror game, I kind of want a good story. Like something like Red Dead, you want a good story. GTA, you want a good story. But if I'm playing something like Stuntman, it doesn't matter. There's not really a story in there anyway, outside you're just a stuntman. Certain games it doesn't matter. Certain ones it does, so depends on what I'm playing. But thank you for the questions. Chris D for hater, I don't know, it's H8, I don't know. Popeyes chicken sandwich or KFC. I have had both, and it's Popeyes. Popeyes has one of the better chicken. The Popeyes chicken sandwich, from what I remember, I haven't had one in probably 4 years, is like this thick, and it's good. KFC's good too. I'd probably go Popeyes though. There's a lot of good chicken sandwiches out there. Chick-fil-A has a good one. I like Burger King's, the original Long Boy. Wendy's has a good one. But the Popeyes one is really good. And it's probably the biggest of the bunch, from what I can remember. It's definitely Popeyes, but KFC's got a good chicken sandwich too. But Popeyes I remember being really good. We used to get it a decent amount on Long Island, not a decent amount, but probably like 5 times on Long Island. So yeah, I'd say Popeyes. And thank you for the question. Justin May asks, what does video games mean to you at this stage in your life? They still mean a lot, video games. I don't play them as much as I used to. I threw the PS5 on and the Xbox to just see if anybody added me, and I added them because I haven't been on a bit. Although I was playing a ton of Heroes of Might and Magic 3 on the laptop while I was in Florida. But I don't play as much. I'll go a couple weeks without playing games. I still love them though. when I get the Indiana Jones game, certain games I play, and it just draws you back in, and you're like, yes, this is why I love playing video games and stuff, and I need to get back to Oblivion Remaster. But they still mean a lot at this point. I'm still playing them enough, and I still have enough of them. So yeah, I mean, they still mean a lot, video games at this point. In my life, it still means something to me. I mean, there might become a point where I'm playing random games from time to time when I get older, but who knows? When I get older, that's probably when I will really start to pull onto the older games for the nostalgia trip. But yeah, they still mean plenty to me at this point. And thank you for the question. I see the names. I'm like, I'm gonna butcher it. Ewan Douglas asks. Like I said, I apologize to anybody whose usernames I destroyed. Their question is, have I played any of the Soul games? If so, would you play it on channel? I have not. I played a little bit of Demon Souls. That's it. Never played Elden Ring. Never played any of the Dark Souls games. Just a little bit of Demon Souls. And it was cool. But I don't know. It's not my style of game. As that much. I guess there'd be some hard bosses in there from what people say about those games. And Elden Ring and some of these other ones that are similar. But no, I've not. I've only played a little bit of the Demon Souls, and I believe that was the first one, right? And then it went to Dark Souls, and now they've made it was Bloodborne's another one, right? That's like that. No, I mean, if I did like them, I probably would have played one on the channel if I was into. I shouldn't say it. If I was into them, I probably would have played one, but I only played a little bit of Demon Souls. But thank you for the question. Let's see what we got here. Dooku Inferno? I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Duke of Inferno, I would assume that's how it's said, the way it's split up. I was just saw it, and then I saw the F. It's almost like sometimes reading people's usernames, and myself included, is like reading people's vanity plates on cards. You're like, what does it say? And you're completely wrong. You're like, oh wait, no. What's one of my favorite stories from childhood, and why is it so memorable? I don't know. I talked about the N64. I would have been a senior in high school, so I wasn't a child. But getting that and seeing it for the first time was a great feeling. It was very memorable. But winning a couple of championships in Little League with 1-2 was really cool. I made a great catch in one game in the outfield. That was a good memory. A lot of elementary school I really liked. Christmas mornings when you're a kid are always awesome. Trying to think. The sports ones were good though too. When I was in Little League, those were cool. Those were memorable because we won and it was fun. It was exciting and stuff like that. The N64 was just for video game purposes and just the memories of it was great because it was turning into 3D and it was just mind blowing at the time. Isn't it weird that I don't really have a lot of memorable moments? I have them, but making tournament in baseball was an awesome memory. That was a fun time too. Yeah, some sport related ones really, but there's nothing. They were memorable just because it was a nice achievement too. The tournament team was nice. But yeah, that's probably it. I know it's not exciting or anything, but my parents divorced? No, I'm just But yeah, thank you for the questions. Well, the question, I'm sorry. I don't know if I know I've said your name before. I don't know if you say it Anders or Anders. And if that's your last name, I'm gonna Haukus. I apologize. I know I talk to you on Instagram sometimes as well. I do apologize. Is it Anders or Anders? Is it Anders Lee in hockey? I think it was Anders. I apologize though. They ask, well, let me just do the thumbs up real quick so I do it. I'd rather do it first so I don't forget. Because this is getting there. We're almost pushing an hour. What is my favorite type of ASMR video to make? I love doing the shady videos. It's a shame some view well, some don't. I like doing those because I get creative. I can get stupid and weird. You You gotta do whatever you want, right? Doesn't matter. I just like thinking what props I'm gonna use, and as I'm like doing the vid, like a new idea pops in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this part real quick. I like rambling as well. I love rambling about video games. Those are some of my favorites. The shady role plays in particular are my favorites because, like I said, you can do anything you want with them. Just be as stupid as you want, as weird as you want. Use props, whatever. Let me get that NES light gun. Oh, I buzzed my head. Let me use some of the hair. Put it in a you know, like, I'll use all types of stuff. But it's definitely the shady videos. I really got to utilize the shed here at some point because I like making some of those videos in the shed back in Massapequa. And the basement in Massapequa will never be duplicated in terms of the perfect setting. Those Fallout role plays are really fun to make. Maybe I'll make another Fallout role play in the garage at some point. Those are super fun to make, the Fallout ones too. But the shady ones are my favorite, and the video game rambles. But thank you for the question. This person, it's not, they just say grow out your beard. It's not a question, but they say, a lot of people say grow out my beard. This is about the longest I'm going to get. I let it grow out once or twice, and I just didn't like the way it felt. And I was like, I can't do this. Like, I'll let it grow this much, it's fine. I could probably go like another week before I start going, oh God, I don't like this anymore. That was not a question though. Alex Wilkinson asks, how tall am I? What's my favorite fast food place at the moment? I'm 5'11". I could be 5'10" now if I shrunk. I don't know. I used to shrink over time. I'm 5'11". Last my height was measured at the doctor. I was 5'11". Favorite fast food place at the moment? I don't even know. We did get the Bojangles burrito. There's a breakfast burrito. It was actually really good, but that's my favorite. It's probably still Burger King. I like Burger King a lot. Probably them at the moment. And Taco Bell's always gonna be up there too, but it's Burger King. I love Burger King. But thank you for the questions. Will Bob, I don't even know. Will Bobagins? I don't even know. I apologize. They say in a Golden Q&A, I said I moved. I'd like to start watching football, soccer. Just wondering if you have. I have not yet, no. This is what I do. I say a lot of things and then they never happening. I still do want to. Like, I know Charlotte has an Major League Soccer team here in the U.S. Maybe I'll get into them. I could always try to get into the Premier Leagues over in... I know that's the big one, right, in England. That's the one people like. Maybe I'll try to find something. I'll pick a team. I wouldn't want to pick the best team. I'd probably look for, like, one of those middling teams. And all of a sudden they get it done. You're like, yes. I don't even know who's good there. Did I just see that Chelsea won something, or was it Arsenal? I don't know. But no, I have not gotten into it yet, unfortunately. And there's still time, I would think, right? Maybe I'll go with Charlotte for Major League Soccer at first. But thank you for the question. I apologize once again for the names I'm destroying. Chiron asks, what are some of the things you miss and don't miss from New York? Some of the things you like and don't like from North Carolina. Those are kind of like the other one. I miss having access. Long Island has a lot of access. Doctors, food, video game stores, stuff like that. The one thing about Asheboro is there's not a lot of that. So I don't like that about down here. But you're knowing that moving to a small town, you're going to know it's not going to have all that stuff. But they do have a good amount of stuff, the antique stores and stuff. There is a nice amount still. There's not like a full-on dedicated video store, which I would have loved. Like on Long Island, Long Island is convenient in terms of traveling and public transportation. And you need to get a doctor. Like, so there's doctors obviously in town, but you know, you might want to find a doctor in another place. Long Island, there's doctors all over the place, and they're not far. So convenience on Long Island is a huge plus. So you lose convenience down in the smaller town down here. It's not awful by any stretch, but you lose that. I miss that. I don't miss the traffic and the loudness of Long Island. I do not miss. And I like the much more quietness, even though you hear a lot of gunshots. People shooting off their guns. They're not just killing people. They're just shooting off their guns. And you hear the planes, but I don't mind the planes either. It's much quieter here, which I appreciate. There, it was very loud. Long Island's very loud. And that was annoying. And I like the slower pace down here as opposed to the pace up there. I'm more suited for the pace down here than there. So those are the things I miss the convenience of and having options and access to a lot of different things up there as opposed to here where I'm at now. I like the quietness, the more quietness down here, and the slower pace down here as opposed to up there, the faster pace and people just being loud as shit. But thank you for the question. It's Exotic asks. Oh, thank you for that question. Those questions as well. Is there any part of your life you could relive? What would it be and why? How many? Oh my god, I still have a ton. I'm gonna have to do this in 2 parts. I'm already over an hour. Gosh. Where am I? Oh god, I just lost my spot. This is nuts. I didn't think I had this many. This is gonna have to be 2. Like, this is crazy. I didn't think I had this many. This is going. I'm gonna tell you right now. This is gonna be 2. This is over an hour, and I'm not gonna be able to do this for 2 hours. They ask, what do they say? Is there any part of your life, if you could relive, what would it be and why? I'll tell you right now, real quick. This is why I'm not a huge fan of doing the Q&As, because the more subs you get, the more questions you're gonna get. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to do this. I don't mind getting the questions, but you're like, oh crap, it's gonna be a long video. And I get nervous with long videos, because I'm afraid something's gonna happen. It's gonna screw up or something, and I just wasted a bunch of time. I don't know. I'd relive my childhood, elementary school. I loved. And the toys and the games. It was just a fun time going in the backyard, playing with your G.I. Joe figures, getting the new video games. All of a sudden the Genesis comes out, Super Nintendo, the NES, TurboGrafx. I just had a lot of fun time hanging out with friends and stuff. I think a lot of people would say that. It was just a fun time. I could say high school too, but elementary school was just, I don't know. I'd probably relive. Like 5th grade, I'd probably relive. And then I'd bring back all the stuff I had and sell it. But yeah, it would probably be just for all those experiences, like just stuff like that. It would be that. Definitely be, we'll say 5th grade for an exact year. But thank you for the question. Kieran asks, will I be doing a Silent Hill F playthrough? When I get Silent Hill F, I will probably do a gameplay. I wouldn't do a playthrough of it, but I would do a gameplay of it. When's my P.O. box gonna be? I'm still working on that. This is me again. I say, oh, P.O. box, and 10 years later, I'll do it. That's how I am with things. I want to still do it. I'm always torn between these things, though, and I have my reasons for it. But most likely will happen, but I don't know when. Is YouTube my career? If it is. Well, I used to work in the screen printing stuff for a while. It's not my career, really. It's just part of what makes money now, and the eBay. And the other thing I don't talk about. What's my favorite fast food takeaway? Like I said before, Burger King probably is my favorite. Burger King and Taco Bell I really like the most. But yeah, I'll definitely do a Silent Hill F. I'm getting Silent Hill F when it comes out. I will definitely do a gameplay of it. And YouTube is not my career, but it's part of the money. It's part of the equation. It's not the main thing, though, the full thing or anything. But thank you for the questions. Let's see. Sandoval asks, once again, I apologize. I mentioned collecting for the original Xbox. Which games am I looking to add? I still want to get the 2 Fatal Frames, but they're pricey, so I'm probably not going to bother with that. Conquer Live and Reloaded, The Thing, Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth. But those are a little pricey, so I probably won't get them. And stuff like Enclave and the smaller games. Star Wars Republic Commando, stuff like that. There's a ton of games I can think of, like Batman Begins and stuff. There's other games that I definitely would want. But that's some of the ones I'm looking to add. If they get added, I don't know. If they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. But thank you for the question. Tyson GK asks, if I could switch lives with pro athlete, why would I switch and why? And what would be the best thing about switching that to that life? I'm like trying to think of an athlete I would switch with. Maybe it'd be Mike Messina. I mean, he's not an athlete anymore. But just because he was a real kind of quieter, mellower dude. Seems to kind of, he goes out of the limelight, he's gone, it's not a big deal. He's like known, but not overly known, so he's not getting crowded by a ton of people. It'd be cool, he was a great pitcher and stuff. I guess the best thing would be the security of having money. Like I always say, money doesn't buy you happiness, it can buy you happiness, but it buys you security. It buys you that you don't have to be afraid of certain things happening. This money, you have the money to pay for those things. And Mike Messina, I would think, made enough money in his career. Yeah, but it'd probably be him. And the money thing would be the thing. Because when you have money, you don't have to, it's not about happiness, because you can still be, of course, depressed. Like, money's not going to change that. But it can buy you security. Like, there's, like, oh my God, my hospital bills, or something in my house got screwed up. You can now easily afford it instead of being like, oh crap, I can't do this or that. I got to pool all my money towards that. So that'd be the main reason why I would switch with an athlete. But thank you for the question. I mean, I could say that about any athlete, though. It doesn't have to be Mike Messina. It could be anybody. Who's athletes now? Who makes the most? Who's the guy? No. Otani's got a lot of deferred money, though, so it's not... he's still got a ton, though. Aaron Judge. Sam, he makes them. I don't know why I want baseball. They could be basketball players make a shit ton too. Steph Curry, LeBron. Well, LeBron gets a lot of shit and it's so famous. You want to be an athlete that's famous, but you kind of still have some privacy. LeBron certainly does not. But thank you for the question. Zach L 6688 asks, since I'm always chewing gum, what's your go-to? The watermelon extra is probably my favorite. I do like some Tridents. I think there's a Trident tropical twist is the one that I like. But the extra watermelon is the one that's my favorite. It's the one I'm chewing now. It does not have any taste. We're over an hour into this video. It does not have any taste left. But I would say that was my favorite, followed by the Trident tropical twist. But thank you for the question. How many do I have left here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have too many. I really want to. I'm not going to be able to do it. All right, so I'm going to answer a few more. This is going to be two hour long videos. I'm going to have to put them up back to back too. So it's going to be Wednesday, Thursday. And it's going to take like 3 hours for this to upload. So I probably shouldn't have it go super long. All right, where am I? I'm going to tell you right now too, this will probably be my last Q&A that I do. And the next one. But I have to finish with these. I thought I would do it, but I underestimated. All right, I'll end. I'll do a couple more. I'll do 3 more. JP Maximus Haterby asks, what's your least favorite Mountain Dew you tried? It's definitely the Flaming Hot Mountain Dew. That was awful. The Fruit Quake was also not good. But the Flaming Hot was just not good. I don't think they expected it to be. Maybe some people liked it. But that and the Fruit Quake are my least favorites by far. But the Flaming Hot one, I did a review on both of them. Just not good. Not good at all. But, and I like most Mountain Dews, but those two I just, no. But thank you for the question. Excuse me, Dakota ASMR asks, would I be willing to do a collab? I actually would. I know you've asked in the past, and other people have. And I said I wasn't into it. But I do have a collab coming up with someone. You will not be surprised by who it is. Because I approached them. They had asked, I believe, at some point. And I was like, same thing. I was like, I'm not. And then I finally was like, you know what? Let me just do one. And then you as well. I know you asked. And you were one of the other people that, after, because I wanted this to be my first one. And then I have another one coming up with somebody else that asked me on Instagram. And then, yes, I will do one. So if you're on Instagram, I'm under cliches, right, on Instagram. Or leave yours in this comment or another video. And I'll contact you through there if you want to figure out how to do it. I will say this, though. I don't edit. So if you could... The 2 people said they would do the editing that are doing the video. So if you're able to do the editing, that would help. Because honestly, I don't know. I'm so ignorant and terrible with the editing. That's part of the reason I didn't want to do it either. Because if I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't want to butcher anything. But I will do one, though. So let me know through Instagram, whatever. I'm under cliches. I think I have a link. If you have one, I think I have a link in my thing, my profile. But thank you for the question, and I will end it with this one. When is bored? 4900. Have you ever traveled to another country or state? Which is my favorite? I've gone to Canada and I've gone to Jamaica, and both are nice. I've been to Canada a couple of times. Jamaica was 23. That was really cool as well. Liked them both. Went to the Hockey Hall of Fame in Canada and Niagara Falls. It was Toronto, and then another time we went with my fiance and her mother. That was cool too. And did some other stuff there. We went to like an arboretum, like this butterfly thing. That was really cool. I forget where that was exactly. Went to a Blue Jays game back the first time I went and stuff. I've been to some states, not a ton, maybe like 12. Georgia was awesome. Savannah is incredible. I love Savannah. It was awesome. That was the best chicken sandwich I ever had, if any. It was waffle, as the bun was a waffle. It's like apple butter. It was incredible. Savannah, I like. Georgia was cool. North Carolina's cool. And here now, Florida, I always enjoy. South Carolina, I've been to a bunch because my fiance's dad used to live there. That's nice. Massachusetts was cool. Pennsylvania's cool. Tennessee, I went to. That was nice. My favorite's probably Georgia, though, just because I love Savannah. And I've been to Atlanta and stuff like that, too, in the past. But Savannah's incredible. Like, I loved it so much that it would be Georgia just on that front. But, yeah, thank you for the question, and I'm going to stop here at 1 hour and 11 minutes. Let's see, and I'm going to have a bunch left off the count. So if I've not gotten to your question, that's why I put the thumbs up, so I know the ones I answered. So now, when I do the next one, it's going to go up. This one's going up Wednesday. I'm filming it Tuesday, and then I'm going to film the next part Wednesday. We'll get that one up Thursday. So back-to-back Q&As. I knew I wasn't going to get it done, unfortunately. But anyway, that's the first part of that. Thank you, everybody, for the questions. I apologize again if I butchered your usernames, and thanks for checking this out. And